The Merchant of Venice, Chapter 2. Antonio and Bassanio left the money-lender's office with the 3,000 gold coins. Out in the street, Antonio gave the money to his best friend. "You see," he said, "Shylock isn't so bad after all." "I don't know about that," answered Bassanio. "A bad man can't become good from one day to the next. Let's see what happens in 3 months' time. Maybe Shylock will play a trick on you and make you pay him back with a pound of your flesh and not gold coins. Don't worry about that, Bassanio. My ships will be back in Venice a month before then, so I'll have enough money to pay back Shylock his 3,000 gold coins on time, and nothing bad will happen. The important thing is that you now have the money that you need to visit Portia." That afternoon, Bassanio started preparing for his visit to Belmont, where beautiful Portia lived. There was a lot to do, and it took him some weeks. First, he bought himself lots of expensive new clothes. Then, he bought lots of nice presents to give to Portia, and after that, when he was nearly ready to leave, he had a big party for all his friends. His good friends Gratiano and Lorenzo were there to celebrate with him. "Can I come with you to Belmont?" asked Gratiano. "I don't know," said Bassanio. "If you come, you mustn't be wild, or speak too loudly, or say bad things. People who don't know you won't like that, and I don't want anything to stop me from marrying Portia." "I'll be good and quiet. I'll say thank you and sorry, and I'll only speak when I am spoken to," said Gratiano. "All right," smiled Bassanio. "Then you can come." Portia's father had wanted his daughter to marry a good man, so, before he died, he had invented a plan to help her to find the best husband of all. He asked the cleverest craftsman in Venice to make 3 beautiful metal boxes: a gold box, a silver box, and a lead box. One of these boxes had a picture of Portia in it. Portia's father wanted her to marry the first man who guessed correctly which box had her picture inside. Every man who came to Belmont wanting to marry Portia had to promise that, if he didn't guess correctly, he would leave her house at once. He would never say which box he had opened, and that he would never again ask any woman to marry him. Portia was a good daughter, and so, when her father was dying, she agreed to his unusual plan in order to find herself a husband. Of course, many young men who came to Belmont to see Portia were very worried about the guessing game when they heard about it. They didn't want to guess wrongly and never be able to marry, so they chose not to guess at all and went away. Portia giggled at this, and she told her servant Nerissa that it was a good thing. "They weren't the right husbands for me. I don't want a man who's afraid, or a man who's going to bore me, or a man who never laughs, or a man who's always angry. My father was very clever to invent this plan to keep me safe from a bad husband." One of the men who came to Belmont to ask her to marry him was an African prince. When he entered Portia's house, she told him about her father's unusual plan to choose her a good husband. "I am sorry, but you must play the guessing game," she said. "Are you scared of the consequences?" "Me? Scared?" laughed the African prince. A relaxed smile shone on his face. Look at me. I am a brave man. My face frightens many people, but I am never scared of anything myself. I love danger, so I am happy to play the game and through it to win your beauty. But come, let's eat something first. Then Pusha took the African prince to the dining room where they had a delicious lunch. After they had finished, they went back into the room where the 3 metal boxes were, and Pusha pulled back the curtains. It's time to play the game, she said. The African prince stood looking at the 3 beautiful metal boxes in front of him. On the gold box he read, "If you choose this box, you'll find what all men want." "This is beautiful, Pusha, I think," said the African prince, and he smiled. "Everybody wants to marry her. Young men come from many countries to see her, and gold is the most expensive metal of all. So that's the best box for Pusha's picture to be in, because she's the best woman of all." So the African prince chose the gold box. Pusha gave him the gold key, and with that he opened the box. But when he looked inside, he found only a picture of a skull in it, and a note. The African prince said goodbye to Pusha sadly and left Belmont at once. The next man who came to Belmont some weeks later to visit Pusha was a Spanish prince. "It's your lucky day," he said when he walked in. "Marry me, Pusha, and be happy. I am the Prince of Spain. You know, one day when my father dies, I'll be the King of Spain, and you will be my queen." Pusha smiled sweetly at him, and she told him her father's idea of the guessing game. "I am sorry, but before I can say yes to you, you must choose one of these 3 boxes," she said. "If my picture is inside the box that you choose, I'll marry you. But if it isn't, then you must go at once from Belmont. You must never tell anybody which box you opened, and you must never think of marrying another woman. Do you want to play?" she asked. "What a funny puzzle," giggled the Spanish prince. "But I am a lucky man, and I love games, and you, Pusha, are the woman for me. So, yes, I'll play the game, and I'll win you through it, I know." So Pusha went over and pulled back the curtains, and the Spanish prince stood and looked at the 3 beautiful metal boxes in front of him. On the gold box he read, "If you choose this box, you'll find what all men want." "I don't want what all men want," said the Spanish prince, and he laughed. "I like to be unusual." On the silver box he read, "If you choose this box, you'll find what you deserve." "I like what this book says," said the Spanish prince. "Many young men who want to marry Pusha are not as good as they look on the outside. But I am the Prince of Spain, rich, handsome, and important. I deserve to marry Pusha, who's rich, beautiful, and from a good family." So the Spanish prince chose the silver box. Pusha gave him the silver key, and with that he opened the box. But when he looked inside, he found only a picture of a poor fool and a note. "Oh no! What do I see written here? It can't be! I don't deserve this!" cried the Spanish prince, and he left Belmont with a frozen smile on his face and an ice cold look in his angry eyes. To be continued in Chapter 3.